I'm going to kick off this series with me just talking about what I think my top 10 web links for architecture should be. I hope you get something useful out of it. In later talks, the next one's on Thursday. Martin, the cameraman over there, will be doing a talk on how to kind of combine hand-drawn and digital techniques for your drawings. And then we'll be going into kind of some software-specific talks as well. So I may as well just kick off, really. My 10th most useful website is this one. It's called Cooler, and it's by Adobe Labs. And using this website means you'll never choose a shitty color scheme ever again when it comes to your work. And the way it works is that you have a palette of 5 swatches, and you can basically go through, so these ones are popular ones, or someone just give you a random term, name, anything, flowers, thank you. So just like everything on the internet, keywords, so you can kind of search, rather than just trying to find a specific shade, you can search by kind of feeling or whatever term you want to put in, and there's generally most things are covered. So let's just take this one for example. Let's just say I want to use this one in my drawings, but I don't, and I want to match the exact color. So for everyone who's got like InDesign, Illustrator, or Photoshop, what you can do is if you sign in, like here, and you create an account, what you can do is then download that onto your hard drive, and then, so if I'm going to, I'll just put these in my documents, so I've got quite a few cooler themes. So what happens is if you go into, say, Illustrator, what you can do is actually directly import the swatch straight into Illustrator, so you don't have to do an approximation, you can have the exact same color. So when Illustrator decides to wake up, I'll just show you how to do that. And the colors can be categorized by sort of triads or complementary colors, or contrasting colors, so you can define kind of what you want. So if you want several shades of the same thing, so you can have things like mushroom, and it'll be like different shades of mushroom kind of tones and stuff, which is really useful. And I will show you how to do that, but this will be really slow. Shall I just skip the Illustrator? Oh, there we go. So, once you load up your document, if you go into this area here, this is your swatch palette, and that decides to load up. So these are the swatches you kind of get stuck with initially, but what you can then do is just go to open your swatch library, you go into your other library, and then if we just navigate to where my cooler themes are, flowers in the sun, open that, there you go, they're the exact colors you can then use for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all the other Adobe applications. Okay? So that's number 10. Number 9 is Bruce Mal, and I'd like to thank Sap for showing me this website. Bruce Mal is a designer, he's awesome, and he has on his website something called an Incomplete Manifesto, which is basically just general advice on design. I advise everyone should read this, because if any of you guys get stuck, he's got some really good advice. So ask stupid questions, that's what I do all the time. If I don't understand something, no matter how silly it sounds, I will ask. And so there you go. So I'm going to send all these links out to everyone in the school anyway, so if you can't get the name or the address down, don't worry about that. we'll send that to you. So that's number 9. And I'll go to landscape as well. I'll make sure Helen. So that's number 9. Number 8 is Lulu. Lulu is fantastic. It is a self-publisher, so you set an account with Lulu, and then you can basically upload a PDF in standard book sizes, and they will print, bind, and deliver the whole thing to your door. So you don't have to worry about, you know, binding it all or your book falling apart or whatever. You just got to basically sit there and wait for them to deliver it to you. So to sort of see how it works, well, that's variable. Color ones cost about 10 times as much as black and white. So we just did a document which cost, I think, about £3 for a 120-page document. So, you know, it works out pretty cheap, as well as kind of, you know, the delivery cost on top of that. So,
what's the timescale?
The timescale, depending on what delivery option you do, is variable. I did my dissertation through this, and I got mine within about 3 days. If you're willing to pay a lot of money, you can get it same day or the day after, but usually they take about 4 or 5 working days.
Of course, anybody can order it as well.
Yeah, and anyone can order it. So, you know, you can actually set the cost of how much you want to pay. So once you upload the file onto Lulu, you basically you buy copies of them at cost price. But if you want to add your own profit margin onto it, they will give you the profit. So anyone wanting to make some money with their creative content.
Jay,
so, yeah.
Does it do full bleed?
It does full bleed, yeah, and it does specify what you need to do.
Provide the crop marks or?
No, you just have to do a bleed setting. For those who don't know what bleed is, if you have like a book and like the picture takes up the entire page, that's a full bleed, and what it is, it's like 2 or 3 millimeters beyond the physical format, which means that when it gets printed and it gets cropped, it means you don't get any horrible white marks. Yeah. All right. So this is a typical kind of thing. So all you do is kind of go in, and then it's really easy. You can choose whatever format you want, and then it will give you a cost calculator, how much it's going to be. So let's do color, Royal, which is standard book size, for 120 pages. That will cost you $28. And you know, if there's a UK one, she'll give you it in pounds as well. So let's convert that to pounds. So that one, 120-page book, which is probably a portfolio's worth for anyone, is 17 quid. So 20 odd quid you can get, you know, a book delivered to your door. All right, so that's Lulu. Okay, what is this?
Projector screen.
Thanks, Renzo. This is a Black Hawk helicopter. That's not important. The important thing is that this was done in SketchUp. Which leads me very conveniently to my next slide. Sketch education, SketchUp community forums. If you want to know anything about SketchUp, log on to this. You can get advice from real pros who actually know how to use the program, but it can give you links to Ruby scripts. Ruby scripts are scripts that you can download in SketchUp, which does certain things beyond kind of the default controls of the program. So just to prove that it was a SketchUp model, here he is. He's used these particular Ruby scripts, and then he's just taking the plans and elevations of the helicopter and started building it up. We'll be covering SketchUp in a lot more detail in the 3rd lecture of this series, and we'll give you some kind of indications of how you can actually achieve these kind of things. But suffice to say, it goes to show if you know what you're doing, this is the kind of stuff you can do, and you're not relegated to those shitty kids drawings that like proliferate not only the internet but all the work in the school as well. So here's another example of something you can do in SketchUp, and just to prove it's SketchUp, there's the model. So that is what you can do with SketchUp. So there you go. And number 6, new scientist. The reason I put this up here is because, for me, the way I totally thought about architecture changed after I started broadening the kind of things I look at. I mean, you know, as architects, we kind of tend to look at the same magazines and publications. You know, you can name them: Architecture Review, Architects Journal, Reba Journal, Detail Magazine, Blueprint, etc., etc. But actually, a lot of really good information can be found looking beyond kind of what you're looking at. So I have an RSS feed to New Scientist. Gives me some really interesting things, and what's great about this is that there's a lot of things in here, like new technological developments, which you can quite easily sort of think, how can I make this into an architectural project, or how do these economic figures feed into something that I'm doing. So the point really here is just simply you should be looking beyond kind of what you're kind of told to do, and kind of, you know, really kind of push the boat up and see what you can find. Okay, Ning. Ning is like Facebook, but for like specialized social networking. Several of the MArch studios already have Ning as their kind of studio website, and what's really good about it is that it allows everyone to kind of do group collaborations really easily. So all these slides you're seeing here have actually uploaded onto Ning. So just to quickly go through it, you have a main page, and you can see these kind of modules that happen over them. So the main bit of the content are blog posts that are made by people in the group. What's interesting about this is that people who have their own kind of little web page or their own space can then do blogs and can add photos and can add videos and can add notes and things, but then as soon as it gets uploaded onto their page, it goes straight to the group page as well. And this is really, really useful when you're doing group activities. So we also have events, so like, you know, tutorials, meetings, lectures, etc. get all posted on here. Here's everyone in my studio. Here's some links to other studios and back to the main school. Here's a reading list that we've compiled together, and we've just put it up there, and this will just take you straight to the kind of whatever you're researching. And then you can also add videos as well. And all you've got to do is literally copy and paste the code from like whatever YouTube and it goes straight to the website. And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to find very specific research that you guys are all working on very quickly and all in one place. And so if we're doing some research on some key terms at the moment, and what's interesting about this is that someone can add an entry in their notes, and then so Ryan's added this one, but I can easily just go in. I can go in and then edit his entry. And there you go. So, you know, if you work smart and you're doing a group project or whatever, this could be pretty useful. And what's good about the blogs as well is that if you go to my page or whatever, what's good about it is that you can actually have a visual record of everything you've done over the course of the project. So if you're designing a building or you're designing a project, throw it up as blog posts, you know, show work in progress images and stuff. And then as well as a sketchbook you get to hand at the end of the year, you have an online record or online portfolio of everything you've ever done. That's really handy if, you know, if your friends or your family or whatever want to see what you're doing. And if everyone in the school can kind of do this, then just imagine what prospective students, researchers, etc., people who are interested in Sheffield within 4 clicks they can see student work within the context of their studio or their year group or whatever. So that's neat. Okay. To all the second years here, I know I've sent you this website, and pretty much all of the masters guys know this one as well. But this is a really good website that kind of shows you examples of how you guys can visualize data. And particularly kind of second year upwards, how to process information is a really important thing. And it's not just about kind of what you kind of just throwing up everything you've ever done, but it's actually about kind of making some interesting relationships occur. How do you present that? So, so Visual Complexity is a very good website that kind of does this, and all it does, it just gives you examples of really cool stuff that's happening and gives you the link to them. So, and they're all categorized, so you can sort of see some really good examples of sort of how to sort of represent information. And if you're wondering why all the MArch stuff looks so good, it's because we're probably ripping this off. So, so there you go, loads of different examples. A lot of this is software generated, which I guess we can go to in another session. But the important thing is that websites like this allow you to kind of see how very complex data can kind of not only be visually interesting, but also you can explore very good relationships that you would never have seen before if you're using like, you know, like a spreadsheet or something. So, so that's that, and that leads me on to my next one actually. Is if Visual Complexity shows you kind of how, some kind of examples, then this document will kind of show you why and how to do it properly. So this is visualizing information for advocacy. It was done by a graphic designer, and it's a free PDF, so you can download it for free. And it basically tells you how to represent information visually. So I've got the PDF loaded up here. So there you go. Here's a very good example. Who backs an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East? Here's all the nations of the world, and crucially, the only 3, the UK, the US, and Israel. So what could have been quite boring data very quickly has a very good point. And if you go through this document, it's very good, but just one of the things I like to add right at the end is that it has a very useful list of open source software. So all of these programs are free, and if you don't have copies of Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, or anything like that, here are the free alternatives, which are not illegal. So I advise everyone have a look through this document. My second one's Google. It's just simply because Google over the years have made some really amazing applications, and I know most people either use it as a search engine or they use it to check their emails, but I will prove that you can do a lot more with it. This is Google Documents. It's an online, it's basically an online database where you can look at what Google Documents you've done. So in the studio, we're using Google Documents to create spreadsheets. So this is a Studio 2 thing that we're doing at the moment. So this is basically an online version of Excel. Here's an online version of Word. So here my friend's asked me to go through his incredibly boring essay, and I can make corrections as I go along, and then he can make corrections. And then if he wants to invite someone else to make corrections as well, he just has to email them. And what's good about this is that if he loses his computer or something, it's online. He can access this document from anywhere in the world. This is Google Analytics. This is a really handy piece of software if you have a website, because it will tell you not only how many visits you're getting on your website, but it will also show you some very, very interesting information about where your visits are coming from. So if I wanted to find out who's visiting Studio 2's Ning profile, I know that Southern Ireland is visiting us.
How do you got to throw like some information into the header of your web page, right, to get that to work?
Yeah, it's true. On Ning, all you got to do is go to the. If you're an administrator, you just simply put analytics, and you literally copy the code into there. If it's a personal HTML generated website, then yeah, you do have to place it in your header. But if, for example, you're using something like Ning, this is really easy to install. It takes about 24 hours to get the system running. But after that, well, you can see, so we've received 185 visits from Sheffield, 3 from Dudley, 42 from London, someone in Glasgow has visited us as well. And then over the course of the year, as you kind of get more and more visits, actually it's really interesting to find out where all these people are coming from. So it kind of just proves that if you're getting your work out there, then people all around the world are interested in what you do. Google Maps, everyone's probably used this at some point, but what's good about this is that you can make your own customized maps. So this is my friend Steve. This is his map where he's plotted all the fruit trees in Sheffield. So you click on there, blackberries. Thanks for that, Steve. And this is a really useful one as well. This only came out last week. And what it is if we're going back to the visual complexity stuff, and it's generated by software. This is the software, so you essentially have your boring statistical data in the online spreadsheet, and then these are bits of code that allows you to generate statistical information, and then if you use that as a starting point, you can make it look better in, as you do for drawings or whatever. But it's just a very good way of kind of analyzing and process data. I would have a look. I would have a look at this and have a look at what Google can offer you in terms of increasing your productivity. So that's number 2. And my number 1 is TED. TED is an amazing website, and I owe Alistair for introducing me to this one. This one really kind of changed the way I looked at things, full stop. What it is, it's a conference that they hold every year in California, and all the website does is essentially they just stream the lectures for free. And what's great about these lectures is that this conference takes all the top speakers in all their fields of technology, entertainment, design, science, biology, chemistry, whatever, and talk about it. And what's really great is that, if you see enough of them, you can sort of start to make links to kind of how you might want to approach a project or something. So and they're categorized into themes. So these ones are new. This one's about evolution. Funnily enough, actually, they do have architecture talks on here, but I would say that actually they're the most boring talks. Don't watch those, watch the other ones. So I've seen talks on how mushrooms can save the world, the collective intelligence of crows, how geckos stick to walls, new developments in origami, lists goes on and on and on and on and on. So I'd like to end this little talk by actually playing one of the videos, and I was really in bit of a fix as to which one to play you. So I'm going to give you guys a choice. Would you like to have the design one or the technology one? Technology? Alright.
You can subscribe to this to iTunes.
Yes, you can, yeah.
Get it straight on iPod.
Exactly.
Trains it and it's back over.
Yeah, good point. So it is available as a podcast, just type it in. So let's watch the one on photosynth. It's only 7 minutes long, but it's pretty badass. Oh, balls. Forgotten the sound. Can you grab some speakers? Can you just edit this bit out of the video, right? Just while we're waiting for the speakers, I can show you his number one.
How many F's on?
4.
This is very similar to the visual complexity one that Jay showed you, but it's less about visual complexity and more just about images. It's found.com, found. And you can just search for images, basically. All kinds of images, photographs, people's work. If you go through it, you can find images that you like the look of. If you click on them, it will then take you to another page where it shows all kinds of similar images. So it's great just for finding examples of work, graphical styles, pretty much anything you want. And you can actually bookmark certain ones that will start to create your own profile. If you like the look of this. It then brings up a whole series of related posts as well.
I think the important thing we've found is always to use it in quite an intelligent way, because I think the worst possible way that you can use it is to just go, oh, that looks nice, I'll take some of that, I'll take some of that, and it just becomes, you end up actually not thinking because of it. But actually what it can do is to use them as, to kind of look at the images and look at why they work and use them as like keys to get into a different mode of thinking.
Okay, so thanks for the additional info. Okay, I'm going to leave you this talk, but thank you all for turning up. And the next talk, as I said, will be Martin talking about hybrid working methods, and it will be really useful for you guys to turn up to pretty much every one of these lectures we're going to do. So, thanks.